back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. So in today's class, we're going to be learning how to draft our full scale bodice pattern. I have a video on the half scale and this is my pattern. So there are various ways in which you can achieve this, but before going into that, in today's class we'll be needing our paper, be it the brown paper or the white paper. It will serve the same purpose. We'll be needing your scissors, your tape rule measurements, your marker, and your armhole curve, and your long ruler. So I have my pattern for my half scale body. I'm making a full scale pattern today. So if I'm to do this without the tutorial, there are several ways in which I can just make this happen quickly without wasting time. So you can use your tracing wheel to achieve this. Okay, so you can just place your pattern in where you want it to be. Just have a guide. Like I actually wrote out a line here, so this will be my starting point. So you can just place your pattern, then just trace it out this way, so that way you'll be able to see what you need to trace out. Then you can do it up to your waistline. Okay, and then you trace out your neck region. Then you do the same for the front. This is my front pattern. Trace out your armhole line. Okay, so this is how you can use this. Then you trace out your shoulder. Then another method which you can use if you don't have a tracing wheel, you can use your marker. So you use your sellotape to hold this down, then you draw this out. Okay, then you connect, you look for where your midpoint is for your chest line, your bust line, then your waistline. Then you continue. So but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be going through all of this all over again, okay, for the sake of those watching it for the first time. But what I have here is what I'm going to repeat here, but this time around, because we are working on a full scale, okay, that's from your shoulder to your bust line. So there will be a little bit of alteration and difference, because now I'm working with my hip, not my waist. For the half scale, we worked with our waist, okay, our waistline. But for the full scale, we are working with our hip. The hip is usually the biggest part of the body, but most times it's not always like that. We have some cases whereby the bust is actually the biggest size. So you measure the biggest size of your body. It could be the waist, it could be the bust, it could be the hip. So whatever it is, you bring it out here. So I'm going to be putting this aside so we work on it now. So now I have my measurements with me here. Okay, so now we're going to be working with my hip. My hip is the largest part of my body. So now I have my measurements here. So I divided my hip by 4. Okay, so whatever you have, you divide by 4. And usually if your hip is, let's say, size 45, I will not recommend you place your paper this way. I'll recommend you place it horizontally. Okay, so this will be able to accommodate your hip. All right, so if your hip is very wide, you know, there are some people that are actually endowed in the hip region. They might have hip 50, 45. So I suggest you do it this way. Then you exhaust all of this, and if you want to make your blouse length say 26 inches, you can exhaust all of this, or 25 inches. You exhaust all of this, or you can add to it if it's too short. But because my hip is 40, so I'm going to be placing my paper this way. Okay, so this will be enough for my hip. So my hip is 40, so I divided by 4. I have 10. Then I added 2 inches for allowance, okay, for the bust, for the ease at the armhole, and for my joining allowance. So I divided my paper, so I'm going to be exhausting all of this. Okay, so I have enough space to insert my waist, my dart measurements, and my hip measurements. So on this side, this is 12 inches, so I'll be using 12 inches on this side, then the other side to 12.5 inches rather. So I'm exhausting all of these parts. Then this is the vertical measurements. So now the first thing we're going to be doing, I have my measurements here with me. I have my shoulder, my bust, my waist, and my hip. So the first thing I'm going to do, since we've already drafted out our table, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my front pattern, just like I did for the upscale. So I'm going to be taking my measurement from this side. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now is taking my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder is 13, so I'm going to be dividing that by 2. So my shoulder is 6.5. So I have my 6.5 here. So the next thing we're going to be taking is our chest line. So I'm going to be taking the vertical measurement first. Okay, that is from your shoulder to my bust to my waist to my hip. So my vertical measurement for my chest line, so the first line we're going to be taking is our chest line. So to get your chest line, that will be 35, your bust circumference. Okay, so that is your round bust divided by 6, then you had 1.5 inches. All right, so my bust circumference is 35.5, so I'm going to be dividing by 6, so I have 5.9 or so. So I'm going to be rounding that up to 6 inches, then I'll be adding 1.5, so I'm going to be having 7.5 for my chest line. So whatever you have for your bust, you divide it by 6, then you're going to be adding 1.5 to it. So I'm going to be drawing my line. So this will represent my chest line. Alright, so the next line we're going to be taking is our bust, our shoulder to bust. My shoulder to bust length is 10.5. Alright, I'm going to be taking my 10.5 now. Then the next line I'm going to be taking is my waistline. So my waist length is 16 inches. So I'm going to be taking that down. So I'm going to be rolling that out now, so we can see that. This is my waist. So whatever you have for your waist, you take it down. Then I'm going to be differentiating this now. I'm going to be using this marker so that we can see what I'm doing here. Right. Okay. So after doing that, so we'll go back to our shoulder. What we have for our shoulder, we're going to repeat the same thing here. Okay, what you have for your shoulder, you repeat the same thing here. So I'm going to repeat my 6.5 here. Now I'm going to rule the vertical line to connect both together. So I'm going to be doing that. Then we'll be taking our neck measurements. So for the standard neck measurement is 3 by 3. That is the standard, but it can be altered. But if it's a plus size, like I always say, for a bigger person or a plus size, okay, you can decide to make it 4 by 4. So you can also make it 4 by 4. So this is my neck width, okay, how wide you want your neck. So you can make it 4 by 4 or 4 by 3.5, whichever way, but the standard is 3 by 4. Now I'm going to be using my armhole to connect it. So I'm going to be using my 3 by 3 line. So you're going to be connecting this part to this part. Make sure you're starting from this line I rolled out, okay? Then we'll connect that together. All right. Then on my shoulder line, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, okay? Then from this 1 inch, I'm going to be connecting it to my 3 inches line. All right, so connect that. All right, so while we are coming down on our shoulder line, because the human body, our shoulder is not straight. If you have to look at your shoulder, you can take a look at it. It's not straight on this part, so it's slanted. So that is why we are coming down by 1 inch. I hope that's clear. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, the midpoint, whatever you have left after you've taken this, you measure it. So I have 6.5 inches left. So my 6.5 inches, I'm going to divide that by 2. So I'm going to be having 3.25. all right, so that is for my midpoint. Then I'm going to be coming in by 1/4 of an inch. Okay, you're going to be coming in by 1/4 of an inch on this part. So let's leave that for now. So the next thing we're going to be taking is our butt span measurement. Our butt span is from one nipple to the other. Okay, from one nipple stand to the upper, so to the other. So mine is 8 inches, so I'm going to be dividing by 4. So we're going to take that 4 inches down. Then you mark a straight line for that. Then again, my length, since we are working with our hip, so my blouse length is going to be 26 inches, but my actual blouse length is actually 24 inches. So I added 2 inches for hemming allowance. Okay, so this is my length for my blouse, because we are using this pattern to make our blouses or our shirt dresses. So that is my actual length. So this is my hemming. So that is my hemming allowance. So I'm going to be connecting my actual length. Okay, then for my allowance, I'm going to connect that too. Okay, all right, so that's my okay. So afterwards, you're going to be taking the 4 inches up to this point. So this is my hip. So I'm going to be connecting it down to that part. So I'm going to be stopping it at my hip. So I'm going to relabel my pattern now so we won't get confused. Okay, so I have my pattern relabel, so we can continue. So after doing that, then on your bust line, you're going to be coming down by 1 inch. Okay, because we want to sew our darts to our bust line, it will look sort of. Then on your waistline, you're going to be taking in 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, then from your hip line, I'm going to be coming up by 1.5 inch or 1 inch. So I'm going to be coming up by 1.5 inch. Okay, and I'm going to be connecting this to this to this to this. Okay, so watch how I'm going to do that. So from this line you connect. Okay, so you can see that was pretty easy. But if you want to come up by 2 inches, it's actually up to you. There is no right or wrong way in doing that. All right, so I haven't said that. So the next thing we're going to be doing now, we're going to be taking our horizontal measurement. What we mean by horizontal measurement, that is our round, our bust round, our waist, the round, and our hip. So for my bust is 35.5. So you're going to be taking your bust measurements on your chest line, just like we did for the half scale. You're not going to take your bust on your bust line, but on your chest line. So my bust is 35.5. So you divide your bust, your circumference, you always divide by 4, okay? Because is on fold on this part. You are folding it in, so it's going, when you bring it out, they need to be you open it up. But since we are going to be putting it on fold, that is why we are dividing by 4. All right, so mine is 8.875. So this is my 8.75. Then you had 1/4 inch for, or half inch for ease, okay? You need to be adding half inch, then 1 inch for joining. All right, so that is it. Then on my waistline, I'm going to be taking my waist measurement. So my waist circumference is 30 inches, okay? So I'm going to be dividing that by 4 also. So I have 7.5 for my waist. Then the 1 inch that we took here, this half inch, 1 inch, I'm going to replace that back. Then before doing that, I'm going to be adding ease, okay? Let's add quarter of an inch is, so that when you put on your fabric, it will go freely. If it's going to be a free blouse, so it won't be too tight and you'll be comfortable. So we can add 1/4 of an inch, okay, to that, or half inch. So let me add half inch. So let me repeat the same thing on my chest line, okay? I have my circumference here. I have my, so I'm going to be adding 1/4 of an inch to this, okay, for ease, or half inch rather, for ease, okay? So I'm going to be following this line and I'm going to be connecting this. So once we've added our circumference 7.5, we've added ease, then the dart that we took here, we have to replace our 1 inch dart back. All right, so we are going to be following this line. Then on my hip line, my hip is 40, so 40 divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. So this is my 10 inches. So I'm going to be adding ease of half inch, then 1 inch for joining. So this is basically our front pattern. So our front pattern is almost ready. All right, so let's connect this to this to this. But before we do that, the first thing we're going to be doing is joining this way first. We're going to use our ruler to join from our chest line to our waistline, like this. All right, so after doing that, you're going to take your armhole curve and you place it this way before you join this part, okay? So you join like this. So let's join this together, because on your hip, you know, we are a little bit curvy on our hip area. We are not straight on our hip area. So let's join that together so we can see. All right, so we can see our pattern is coming out, okay? So that is how that is going to be. Then repeat the same thing at your blouse length, your hip, whatever you have for your hip, take it. If it's 10, if it's 12, take it. Add ease, half inch ease, okay? Then you repeat your 1 inch. So you can decide to take your armhole like this, okay? You can decide to connect it like this. Totally depends on you. You can decide to bring it down from where you're bringing it to and to this part, okay? It's totally optional. Or you can rule this part and just connect like this, okay? whichever way you want to do it is totally fine. I'm just going to be taking mine down, okay? I'm going to be connecting mine like this. All right, so I have my front pattern. Then on my armhole curve, okay, on my armhole line, you know we came in by 1/4 of an inch. We're going to be placing your armhole, so you're going to be connecting from this part here to this part. So I'm going to be connecting it this way. All right, so I'll blend that in. Then from this point, I'm going to be connecting it down to this point. This pattern we just created now is for a fabric or a pattern that has dots. But if you want to make like a t-shirt, okay, if you want to make like a simple kimono blouse that doesn't need that, so we are not going to be following this part. So now if you're going to use the one without that or a blouse without that, so what you're going to be doing is on your waistline, my waist is 13, so I'll divide that by 4, so I have 7.5. So this is my 7.5. Then I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch for ease. All right, then 1 inch for joining. So this is the line I'm going to be following if it's without that, because this dart we're not going to be placing our dart on it. I hope you understand. If you want to make a blouse without that or a t-shirt, okay, your shirt dress, you know you're not going to need a dart, so you're going to take your waist measurement. I have my 7 ease, I added my 1/2 inch ease. Then you're going to add your 1 inch for joining, okay? So you're not going to add your waistline to that. Then you repeat the same thing on your hip line, okay? So you connect from your hip to your waist and to your chest line. If you are to follow that, this is how your pattern is going to look like. So you're going to connect it this way. Then it's going to be like this. Because it's without that, okay? So it's going to come like this. Then you connect it to your hip. Then you connect it to your hip line, okay? So if we are using the one without that, this is how it's going to look like. I hope you understand that, this part, okay? So without that, okay, you follow this line. You had your ease, you had your waist, you had your allowance to it, and you connect it down. But this is the one with that. So I hope that was clear. So now we are moving to the back. So the same thing we did for our front, we're going to be doing it in our back. So I'm going to be coming in by this, but you can decide to make it this way. All right, so I'm going to be coming in by this. So the first thing I'm going to be taking is my shoulder. My shoulder is 13. So you divide your shoulder by 2, like I always say. So that is 6.5. Then on my chest line is vertical, is 7.5. So I'm taking my 7.5 this way. So you take that round. And I'll roll that out. So for your back, all you need is your chest line. For the back, all we need is our chest line. Sorry, this is the chest line. All we need is the chest line, the waist, and the hips. Okay, so that is all we need for our back. Then our hemming allowance. Okay, so now, so the 6.5, we're going to repeat the same thing on the chest, on our chest line. All right, then you draw a vertical line to connect the two lines. Then for our neck, this, remember that what you take for your front is what you're going to be taking for your back. Is very important. So we took 3 here, so you have to repeat that 3 here. Then for your back, you're going to be coming down by 1 inch, because we can't take the same measurement for the front and for the back. Okay, so the back needs to go up a little higher than the front, so we are coming down by 1 inch. So I'm going to be connecting from this part right here. So take your armhole curve and you curve your back. Okay, so after doing that, so the next you're going to be doing, you're going to be coming down by, let's come down by 1/2 inch or 1 inch. Okay, you can do 1 inch or 1/2 inch, you still give you the same result. Then you connect from your 3 inches to your 1 inch. All right, so you come down by, then whatever you have left after this 1 inch or 1/2 inch, take that measurement, then you divide it by 2. So I have 6.5, so I'm going to be dividing my 6.5 by 2, so I have 3.25. all right, then on your chest line, we are taking our measurements inwards like this. So my chest line, my bust, so it's your bust measurement you repeat on your chest line, do not forget that part. So my chest line is 8.875. all right, so this is it. Then you had a 1/2 inch is a 1 inch for allowance. All right, so on your waist, repeat the same thing, but before going any further, let's take our bust span measurements. We're going to repeat this bust span you took for the front, for the back. So our bust span measurement on our waist is 4 inches. So now you're going to take that on your chest line. Okay, we are starting that on the chest line. Then you take it to your hip line. Repeat that 4 inches here. Then you connect the 3 dots together. All right, then on your chest line, I'll be coming down by 1 inch. On my waistline, I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch on both sides. Then on my hip line, remember in the front we came up by 1.5. So on my back, I'm going to be coming up by 1 inch. So I'm going to be connecting this, and this together. So watch how I'm going to be doing that. So I connect this to this part, then I bring this all right, so you can see that's pretty easy. Then afterwards, my waist, now let's take my waist circumference, that is 7.5. whatever you have, take it. Then you add ease to your fabric, so you'll be able to fit you. Then 1 inch, then this 1 inch that we took, we have to replace it back. Okay, back is not always straight at the back, our back is a little bit curvy. Okay, so to eliminate this straight line that we have, so on your waistline, you're going to be coming in, you come in by 1/2 inch. So you connect this part, you can connect it to the neck region or to the chest line. It has no, so you can connect it as you wish. So I'm going to be stopping this at my neck region. Okay, so you can stop this at your chest line, however you want it. Then that 1/2 inch that we came in, we have to add that 1/2 inch back. Okay, so this is your actual measurements, the ease, the 1 inch, that, then the 1/2 inch that we came in, so we return that back. Then for the hip, my hip is 40, so 40 by 4 will give me 10. Then the ease when you wear your fabric, then your 1 inch. So you'll be connecting this line to this line. All right, though you'll be doing it this way. So you connect with your ruler, your straight ruler first. Then when you get to your hip parts, you'll be connecting this way. Okay, then try and eliminate any sharpness. You know, the human body is not totally sharp, so you blend that in. Then you repeat the same thing for the front parts. Any sharp parts, just blend it back into the fabric. Okay, all right, so you just blend that in. Okay, so we have our back. So our back is coming out too gradually. So after doing all of this, so the next thing we're going to be doing is connecting this part to this part. Okay, so we connect this to this now. We have that, so we can see our back is ready. Then to this part, you connect it back to your hip area. Okay, so you connect it back. All right, so you can see we've eliminated any back off. So now if you are cutting, this is where we're going to be cutting through like this. All right, then if you want to add zipper to your back, you can go ahead and you add your zipper. I have a tutorial on how I did the zipper parts. So when you are placing your zipper, if you're adding your 1-inch zipper, so it's going to be from, you're starting your zipper from that 1 inch that you came in by. So you place it like this, you connect your 1 inch round. So this is where your 1 inch will be. Then you connect it down. So that is on that part. And now I'm going to be blending this part in. Okay, then I'm going to be repeating the same measurements I took here. So I have my 10 inches here is then 1 inch. Okay, so you can decide to pull it straight like this. Okay, you can decide to make it straight or curve it, totally depends on you. So I want mine this way. Right, so I have that already. Then on this down part, we're going to be coming up by 1/2 inch or 1 inch, depending. So on both sides, I'm going to be coming in by 1 inch. When you connect this way, okay, then you repeat the same thing for the back. I'm going to be taking it back into the fabric. Okay, so now our shoulder measurements for joining, don't forget that part, add it back. Then repeat the same thing for the back too. Add your shoulder joining and connect it. Then now we can start cutting our pattern. Back, you can blend this part in. Okay, blend it in. All right, so now we can start cutting. Remember, we have to lines here. Okay, the first line is the dart lace. So I'm going to be cutting through the dart line. Remember, you're cutting through the line you came up by. Okay. Once you're cutting, your front part will be on fold. Okay, you fold your fabric in two, then you cut this out. Then on the side, make sure you notch your waistline, your bust, your chest, your hip, and your blouse length. Then you'll be using your pin to locate where your darts would be. Okay, where your starting point. But if you can know where your bust line is when you notch it, you know that you're coming down by 1 inch. Then for the back too, you notch the side. Then I'm going to be slashing through this part, so I'll show you how to do that now. So this is optional. You can start this from your waist and stop at the chest line, just like I did for. So I decided to show the two methods. That is why I decided to show you how to do the other parts. Okay, so you can stop at the chest line, you can take it all the way up to your neckline. So basically this is how to achieve that. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit slanting now, it's not straight, so our back is not totally straight. All right, so this is my pattern. So this is how to create your basic pattern, the full scale, your blouse length. So with this you can make your kimono jackets. So if you are making a shawl jacket or a kimono jacket, so you're going to be concentrating on the upper part. So you fold in your 1/2 inch for your shoulder. So you'll be adding 1 inch or 2 inches to your front part. So your zipper part will be on the front part, not at the back part. Okay, always put that in mind if you're making a shirt dress, or a kimono, a short kimono, or even a waterfall jacket. Okay, so this back would be used for a waterfall jacket or your blazers. This is what you need for a blazers. You just make sure the length is a bit longer. That is all you need to do. You make sure your length is longer. Okay, then you create your zipper parts. Then you'll not be needing your darts for a kimono jacket, and you also not be needing it for a simple blouse or for a kimono top. But if you're putting a dart to it, you can actually add your zipper to it, or if you want to make it free fine, you can go ahead and do that. So with this pattern, I hope it has been helpful. I hope you like my video. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, guys, and if you have any question, put it in the comment section. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until I see you next in my video. Bye, guys.